What is functional testing? What makes it so much more magical than the blood work that my doctor is already doing? Is this actually going to find answers for me? Yes, it absolutely can find answers for you. And it's not that your doctor doesn't want to help you. If you had a chronic disease or you broke your leg, you absolutely need mainstream medicine. For sure, no questions asked. But unfortunately, our doctors and our medical system is not equipped for the things that women are going through in midlife. Most doctors have no training on nutrition, no training on menopause, or if they do, it's a little tiny piece of it. And so if you don't have something actually really wrong with you, they're not going to catch it until something is wrong. But we all know that diseases, especially lifestyle diseases, start many years before you actually see them. Like, for example, diabetes. Like, you didn't just wake up one day diabetic. It's been brewing for many years. And there's a reason why you're so tired. There's a reason why you have brain fog. There's a reason why you're bloated. There's reasons for all of these things. And that's what functional testing can actually show. And we've done it successfully with hundreds of women. So does it work? It absolutely works. It's just outside of traditional blood work. But even with traditional blood work, there's a distinction. You see, when your doctor is looking at you and they're comparing you to normal ranges. So if you go to LabCorp and you get blood work drawn and you see a range on there that's quote unquote normal, they're comparing you to the population. The vast majority of our country is overweight or obese, is on medication, and has a lifestyle disease. It does not mean that you are actually functioning optimally. In addition, there's a lot of things that you actually can't get out of blood work, right? Blood work is amazing. I love blood work. I do it all the time, but there's information you can't get from blood work. Now, blood work is great because it's cheap and it's fast. It doesn't give you the total picture. And that's where we are able to run some additional testing. Now, because we're specialists, we specialize in really successful but somewhat burnt out women between 35 and let's say 65, 35 plus. And these women have a lot of things in common. They're struggling with brain fog, they're struggling with sleep, a lot of them have gut issues, they're having hair, skin issues, they're having very similar issues because every person is unique, but we're all kind of type A, we're kind of, driven, we're very successful, and so our bodies manifest a lot of things in the same way. And we're all going through perimenopause or menopause. And so that's where we're able to run different tests and take a look at your body in a different way. One of those is a gut test. And yes, you poop in a box and you send it back, but it is so powerful. Your gut is your second brain. And this can show us all kinds of magical information. I'm going to show you the test in just a second so you can actually see. And then we also do a 24-hour urine test for your hormones. Now, this is really magical because it can show us not just what's in your blood, but what your body's actually using. And it does it over an entire 24 hours. Your hormones pulse throughout the day. So if they haven't pulsed yet in the morning before you go get your blood work done, they're going to miss the reading. In addition, hormones like cortisol, they actually follow a curve. So you actually need an entire day to get the total picture. Because just because you have normal cortisol when you go get your blood drawn in the morning doesn't tell us anything about the rest of the day. The other magic in this is it can tell us how you metabolize your hormones, how your body's actually breaking them down and using them, which is really cool and cannot be done in blood work. And then when it does come to blood work is tremendously useful because there's a lot of things you can only get in blood work. Tremendously useful. However, you need to make sure you're looking at it in the right ranges. Again, which is not comparing you to all the other sick people. It's comparing you to healthy people. So I'm actually going to share my screen and I'm just going to show you guys what some of the tests actually look like. So the first thing is when we look at blood work, I'm just going to show you a couple of examples where you can see, let's say, for example, here's sugar, blood sugar. You can see here a standard range would be from 65 to 99, but actually we only want to see it go up to 90. Another good one is triglycerides. There's literally functional versus traditional for like everything. Even like your thyroid. Thyroid's a huge one. And this one's actually near and dear to my heart because for a long time they kept telling me my thyroid was normal. And as soon as I actually got my thyroid fixed, it changed so much for me. My ADD went away. My brain was so much more clear. My hair started growing again. It was a game changer for me. And I look back years and years and my thyroid was always quote unquote normal, but it was definitely not normal and it definitely wasn't good for me. And when I actually fixed it, I felt so much better. So you can literally see this for like just about any blood work. And realistically, a lot of doctors aren't testing all of these things. They're not testing your free T3. Well, this is your active thyroid hormone. This is the most important one. They're not testing these things. And so, like I said, triglycerides is a big one. They'll tell you up to 150. This is like the fat in your blood. This is like the grease clogging the pipes, right? It can actually be really, really, really dangerous. A1C is another one. They'll let it go all the way up to 5.5. Well, at 5.6, you're pre-diabetic. So do we really want it to get all the way up to 5.5, right? So that's the blood work portion of it. And then when you look at something like a Dutch, the Dutch test is awesome because it gives us, now it looks like hieroglyphic if it's your first time seeing it, but it gives us so much information about your hormones and then again, how you metabolize them. So here's what I was saying with cortisol. You actually need to see your cortisol over 24 hours. And then you can actually see what is your body doing with this cortisol? Does it use it? Does it burn through it? Like what's actually happening? And so this Dutch test gives us like so much information. Now, again, the information is only half the battle. What do you do with this information? How do you take this and put it into actionable things that you can actually control, right? And so it shows you these awesome breakdowns of all of your hormones. Your adrenals, this is like my favorite one right now, right here, because so many women think they have high cortisol. We see so many women with completely flatlined cortisol, totally flatlined. They think they have high cortisol. They're supplementing for high cortisol and they don't have high cortisol at all. They actually have low cortisol. And so again, this is an awesome test that gives us tons and tons and tons of information. And then the same thing with your gut. It gives us all this information about what's actually happening inside of your gut. And your gut is where your metabolism starts. It's where your digestion starts. There's different ones, like this one's linked to your blood sugar. And so it really helps us to start to figure out the root cause, like what's actually causing your body to do this, so that we're not just playing whack-a-mole and smacking symptoms down, right? It takes a look at like your digestion markers, your stomach, your pancreas, your immune system. Like there's so much beautiful information in here. And then what we do is we actually take it and we turn it into an actual specific protocol for women. And so like I said, I get asked all of the time, like, tell me about this testing. What makes this testing different? Like, what does it actually look like? And so it's literally like a deep dive into looking at like all of these different parts of you. And then it's like, okay, where are the nutritional gaps? Are we over exercising? Like, what are the things that we actually need to do? The supplements, the lifestyle, the food, like the specific things that are going to move the needle for you and actually bring your body back into balance, back into health, back into the correct state, right? So that you can lose the weight, so that you can have more energy, so that you aren't worried about high cholesterol, so that you're not worried about diabetes, that you're not worried about all of these things, right? Because you have a lot of hormones. And, at the end of the day, you want to look at the entire hormone hierarchy. You don't want to just look at one portion of it, right? You don't want to just, if you're on HRT, cool. What about the rest of this? And how do we take a really deep dive and make sure these things are optimal, not quote unquote normal and you're just as sick as everybody else? We want to be optimal because there's a good chance a lot of you are quote unquote normal. Okay, cool. Then why do you still feel like shit? And that's the magic of functional testing. That's the magic of really being able to take a deep dive and use tests like this and then actually know what to do with them. And how do we actually put this into a real practical action plan? So I hope that you found that helpful. As always, if you have questions, let me know.